Big question coming in tonight is who's going to go to the high side. The answer is 3 cars crashing at the back, including, it looks like Roman Grosjean in the 77, one of the Meyer Shank cars. Oh, that's David Malukas in the 66.
Oh boy.
And the sponsored car for the race, Hy-Vee. Christian Lundgaard for Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing. We see that 66 is still rolling. There's some damage obviously to the right front there. Can't tell from this angle if it's terminal.
Agustin Canapino giving a thumbs up to the AMR safety team.
Tough break for him. He's been really, really strong this weekend,
And this guy, David Malukas, qualified 3rd last weekend at Mid-Ohio on the road course. A brilliant job, had a pit stop issue, and now out early at Iowa. Hopefully he can continue, but certainly out of staying on the lead lap as Roman Grosjean, the teammate to Canapino, comes to pit lane. They look at the left rear suspension.
So that's Joseph Newgarden in the red and white car, and below Malukas on his own, loses the back end.
Just got the left sides, James, over that white line. They call it the hinge point.
The Gamebridge Honda leads the field to green, but watch McLaughlin in that yellow and white XPEL Chevy. He goes the high line.
Not afraid to send it high, but not quite as much grip. A little bit slow off. That's going to allow Alex Palou in the red and yellow DHL machine to close up. Not enough, but man, I'd say that Scott looks pretty racy early on.
He really does, but that outside line just didn't seem to have the grip. It's clean by virtue of the race just starting. That'll be different halfway through this race. We expect tire dust and some marbles to build offline, but McLaughlin getting aggressive early.
Scott Dixon runs behind them, then Santino Ferrucci for AJ Foyt Racing. Here's Ed Carpenter. Had a bit of a shocker in qualifying. He was not happy with his car, so he's trying to make up as he pushes by Stingray Rob.
That puts Ed Carpenter up to 18th so far. Joseph Newgarden is the one on the biggest move, up 8 spots so far as the driver of the number 2.
Well, let's hear from one of the drivers involved in that multi-car accident. Here's Augustine Canapino.
Augustine Canapino has been released. And Augustine, first, are you okay? Second, was that just a product of having nowhere to go?
Yeah, I'm okay, Yeah, unfortunately, David did a spin and I can't avoid it, so incredible.
Heartbreak for Augustine Canapino, but we're certainly glad to see that he's okay.
And we'll get a second chance tomorrow. So, Colton Herta is now finding his pace and his rhythm and has gapped McLaughlin a little bit. Dixon's making ground on his teammate, then Ferrucci, then Will Power. Caution is out, and it is for the One Cure Honda of Graham Rahal, who is slow on the apron, and look at that front right.
Looks like
there's like something in the driveline shattered. I don't know.
I don't know if he realizes that it's right front. I wonder if that's a wheel bearing or an upright failure, or potentially did it get in the wall. I don't see any evidence of that. Maybe it's not coming from the right front, James, but it certainly looked like it.
I see what you're seeing. It sort of looks
out around.
Yeah.
But I can't tell if he lost drive.
I bet that's something in the right front upright.
This doesn't look right, does it?
No, it doesn't. I'm trying to look at the back of the car as well, just to see if there's anything that stands out there. You can see the way the front tire is moving around.
It sure looks like something's given up mechanically there. Wheel broke? Probably an upright.
Could very well be an upright. Either way, yeah, well.
Did they just put stickers on Graham and send him back out?
They sure did. Maybe something with the tire? Oh, see, maybe the wheel broke.
The wheels of folks cracked.
Cracked spokes.
That's terrifying.
Now, that's not something I've really seen before, but again, with this repave, we're seeing loads that we haven't seen at this racetrack in a very long time.
Everybody's coming to pit lane, lap 84, Georgia. This puts him into that 2-stop scenario.
It's open, and they are all coming down pit lane. Joseph Newgarden is going to bring the 2 to the attention of his crew. He has been battling a vibration that's been getting worse, but those sticker blacks are going on. A small wing adjustment to Dylan Welch.
John Dixon happy with his car. Pits from first, clear in and clear out. Nobody around him on pit road. 4 tires and fuel, Kevin.
Colton Herta said the tire wear is really picking up. He thinks it'll get better as the night goes on. He wants a tire pressure adjustment. Let's watch the race on pit road. And it's going to be Scott McLaughlin, maybe by a foot on the outside, almost even between McLaughlin and Herta as they hit the exits.
How about that, Kevy? What a wild race off pit road. Something's happened to Palou. and the thirsty threes are in front. Look at Dixon in that orange and blue PNC Bank Honda, and Herta defends and then goes on the attack. Herta on the inside of McLaughlin, wheel to wheel through turns 1 and 2.
But McLaughlin saw the sweepers work, and he knows the track is clean to the high side, and he'll stay there.
It was the high side he tried on the first lap, didn't quite make it work, but great work on this restart to roll the speed around the top. Excellent aggression from Colton Herta, though, on that restart. I love that.
So many drivers said after practice, you can't go to the high side. McLaughlin tried it, and he makes it work on race day.
Here's Palou. Palou is pouncing. He knows he's got positions to make up. He's already grabbed 2 since the restart. Working on Pietro Fittipaldi.
And it looks like he'll dispatch of him pretty quickly here into turn 1. Next up looks to be Kyle Kirkwood. And the championship leader really making a charge here.
Another penalty being handed out, this time to the Verizon Chevy of Will Power. Speeding on pit road. He's going to have to do a drive-through. Here he is.
And that's so tough at a short track, guys. That's a lap down for sure. Really compromises Will Power's night now.
Look at the speedy Spaniard. He is just carving them up. Down he goes past Kirkwood. He is just checking them off his list. He restarted 19th. He's already up to 14th.
That is super impressive. Palou wasting no time. Now he's behind 2 drivers battling in their own right.
On board here with Nolan Siegel, looking out the back at Stingray Robb in that yellow and red car. Palou stalking, looking for more spots.
They're looking back, this NTT on board. You see that little wiggle there from Stingray Robb. That's the kind of thing that Palou is going to look for to capitalize on. Is he going to go high? Is he going to try it? I hate that. I hate he doesn't have the confidence to do it. I want to see drivers start to hang it out there because it keeps that second lane clean.
Or is he just the smart one, playing the high percentages like he has his whole career?
Of course he's the smart one, but that's not fun.
Colton Herta led the opening 86 laps. Scotty Mack has led the last 59. Let's talk more about the race leader. Here's Kevin Lee.
So it's not all perfect for the leader, Scott McLaughlin, right now. The word is that the car gets a little bit more loose as the sun goes down, so they'll probably do a front wing adjustment on the next stop. And then behind him, a little more urgency and the concern from Colton Herta. Let's listen.
Vibrations are getting really bad.
We see the front vibration. The rear looks like it's okay. That's 48 laps on this step.
How many more laps?
Trying to do another 25.
By the way, that was about 7 laps ago, so he's trying to get to about 264 or so, which would be probably in the window if it doesn't go yellow again to get home.
164, I think, would be that lap, Kevin. The vibration is so bad, James, you can barely understand what Colton Herta is saying.
And you can see it on the steering wheel. The dash goes blurry on the straightaways because it's vibrating so hard.
At first I thought it was a bad radio transmission, but his body is shaking so violently he could barely talk.
And that's so brutal from inside the race car. Your head is shaking, your hands are shaking, and it affects the balance as well.
He's doing vision.
You're exactly right.
Vision looks like the dashboard, especially as it gets to nighttime. It's one big glaring blur. It's brutal for Colton Herta right now.
Well, at least they're only doing 180 miles an hour around a short track. No, but who needs to see, right?
Hey, you may have noticed the 77 Juncos Hollinger Chevy of Romain Grosjean back out. Unfortunately, he is 135 laps down, but at least he is back out. Here's a good and a more positive story. Rinus VeeKay, he and Ed Carpenter started this weekend not in a happy place with their cars. They've tweaked on them, they've worked on them, and the young Dutch driver has found a happy place tucked in behind Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson, and VeeKay has worked his way up 6 positions from where he started to be running in a very impressive 7th.
Yeah, strong night for VeeKay in the 21. But now the question for everybody at the front is, okay, if it stays like this, how am I going to start to make a move? How do I figure out how to make progress and pass a car the way things are strung out right now? So this is where you get a lot of feedback, and if you're Colton Herta, you can only hang on. You have to stay out.
Now, we've had a little bit of a change of things at the front. Scott McLaughlin has skipped away because Colton Herta is nursing that vibration issue, and Scott Dixon, who we ride with thanks to PNC Bank, is starting to pounce.
And Colton Herta doing a wonderful job to hang on here, but he would desperately like to be closer to McLaughlin to have a chance to try to make a move during the pit stop cycle. Right now, with McLaughlin opening things up to almost 4 seconds, he's really in control. Dylan, what can you tell us about Dixon?
Well, and Scott Dixon has noticed that gap has also increased. This was the conversation between he and strategist Mike Cole.
He may doing the same thing as you. You're slightly better than he is. He's up to 12. He's working at it. Oh, the car in front of you suddenly starting to have vibration. Stay close to him. Good job.
And I think Scott would like to go and try to get by him, but they're just reminding him we've got to just make sure we keep our fuel number in mind here. So Dixon just cruising just to make sure they can make it all the way to the end when they stop here in just a couple laps.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation that we're going to see unfold here. Obviously, that first round of stops under yellow, everyone pits at the same time. It just comes down to, you know, the quick guns on pit lane. But now you're going to see drivers pitting on different laps. This sequence is going to be really important. Colton's definitely going to pit on the early side. Dixon's going to try to do the overcut, but there's a chance that the undercut might actually be strong with new tires, and if he gets clean track, Colton might be able to open the gap up to Dixon, close a bit of the gap to McLaughlin. So as these drivers start to peel off, we're going to see now. We don't know yet because we've never done it here at Green Flag Stop with this pavement, whether the undercut or the overcut is more popular, staying out for an extra lap or two or pitting a lap or two early. So this is going to be a fascinating cycle when this window opens here.
The other thing that's going on, Diff, is that the track is evolving quickly, not on the racing line as much as off the racing line. The fine dust of the tires, it's not the traditional marble that we're used to seeing. It's a fine dust-like substance that continues to build. It's invisible. And as we get to the closing stages, a pass attempt becomes way more risky if you're the car going to the high side where all that dust is.
We haven't really spoken much about this man here, the winner of the 100th Indianapolis 500, on board with the Mission Foods View, and this is Alexander Rossi. Now, we know that Alexander's not going to be in this team at the end of the year. However, I want to tell you something just to balance the scales a little bit. In his first year with Arrow McLaren last year, he was well and truly outperformed by Patou O'Ward in the 17 races. Patou finished ahead of him 14 times. This year, in the 9 races thus far, the score's 5-4. Patou over Alexander. It's a lot more even.
I think Alexander Rossi has really started to gel with his team, his setup, and frankly his teammates. It was a surprise for all of us to learn that Rossi wouldn't be coming back to the team. So he's a race driver without a contract right now, and arguably the best free agent available. He's an Indy 500 winner. He's a multi-time IndyCar race winner. And I think there's a lot of teams in the mid-pack that are going to have to get out their checkbooks if they want Alexander Rossi to be their guy next year.
Can I just put an addendum to that? I want to see Rossi win. Right? Like when I want to see the old Alexander Rossi again. Because when he wins with authority. And I want to see that guy back.
Big wiggle for Colton Herta coming off turn 2, but he's now in the window to make it one more pit stop to the finish as we lost the onboard camera there. But Colton Herta first to blink. Kevin, coming to you.
And he should be plenty fine on fuel now. Everyone is staying out a little longer than they thought they could. They made the Firestones last, so they should have enough Shell fuel to be able to turn up the wick a little bit and run a little harder in this last stint. We know Colton Herta has been begging for a stop, so he got enough laps in. So we're down to 75 to go. Should be no problem. Let's watch and see. And maybe the undercut, pitting first, if he can get some clean.
Oh, no!
Evan, Alex Palou, the championship leader.
And that is terrible for Colton Herta. That's going to put him a lap down. And for Palou to lose it is a real surprise. We don't know what happened.
This is highly uncharacteristic. Massive championship implications.
We'd always talk about this guy's consistency, the best worst finish on the field, bring it home in the top 8. And look at this shot here. Rob Edwards on the stand of Colton Herta, who by virtue of that early pit stop has been absolutely snookered with this yellow flag, trapped the lap down.
Hopefully he'll get the wave by before the restart as the AMR safety team is there. Now, guys, I just talked about the evolving track offline to the high side. Is that potentially what got the 2-time champion here, maybe making a move? It's a strange place to crash across start-finish on the tri-oval.
Good thing is to see Alex out, walking around. No worries there, but what happened? Loses it by himself.
So late in the corner, T-Bell. That's a bizarre one.
Very strange. That was just power down, and unfortunately, when he locked the brake pedals down, he was on a vector towards the wall. If he could have locked it down right there earlier, look at that view as pit lane sees the spinning Alex Palou.
And by this point, the leaders have gone by. Colton's a lap down. Here's on board with Kyle Kirkwood. That is so late in the corner. I am truly shocked by that one. It's not even a dirty air thing where he got into the wake really late, but close. Barry Wanzer there on the stand.
He's as shocked as we are.
This all comes down to a pit lane situation once again. It's really high pressure for these crews. The 3 crew got it done the last time, but now you're up against the 9 and the 5 in a straight fight. 2 of the best in the business.
And this pit lane is tight, especially around the bend. Dylan, coming to you.
Clear in and clear out for Scott Dixon. You guys nailed it. Mike Cole telling the crew we need a good stop here. Dixon at the top of the screen has been really happy with his race car. They've picked cars off. Track position has come to them. They should restart second if they can just have a clean stop here, Kevin.
Scott McLaughlin, the leader, has been desperately wanting to win on an oval. This is the money stop, the last stop for everyone. Pato Award is further down on pit road, so this is going to be a race-off. Which pit crew is the best? And Scott McLaughlin is going to beat off Pato Award, Scott Dixon, and then Joseph Newgarden comes out 4th in this group.
Look how many Newgarden leapfrogged. This is game on and win number 7 on the line.
For Joseph Newgarden, up 18 spots. Since the start, he makes a roll bar adjustment. This guy's gaming up for a restart, guys. Pace car is off. It is all right here. You have got to make something happen, but you have to remember how tightly IndyCar is policing the single file rule. You can't pop out early.
King of Corn Country wants his throne back, boys. This is going to be a good restart.
63, it's going to be 62 to go when Scotty Mack hits the line. Everybody behave yourself. McLaughlin gasses it up, gets a little squirrely. He knows Pato Award, the Mid-Ohio winner from a week ago, is there. Here comes VK on the inside.
VK inside, Marcus Armstrong, and then Armstrong's getting jacked up with Rossi and Ericsson.
Let's talk about Rossi falling back in that pit sequence. Ericsson and Armstrong ahead of them. There goes Ericsson by that green car of Marcus Armstrong. Now Alex Rossi in the orange and white car going to line him up. But behind, that's Nolan Siegel making moves.
Nice work. Move after move. Somebody's on the high side. That's Ferrucci.
Track is clean. The sweepers have been out. Ferrucci's going to get 2 in 1 lap.
Rosenquist has to let him through on the inside. Forceful stuff from the AJ Foyt racer.
Now he's got Nolan Siegel in his sight line. That'll put him up into the top 10.
Colton Herta with a big move on Kiffin Simpson in turn 1.
That was for 14th.
The drivers know, clean track right now. It will not stay that way. You've got to make hay if the sun is shining.
Scott McLaughlin, the XPEL Chevy, leads the way. He's led 105 laps here this evening in a dominant display. Well, we're going to spare a thought for the championship, the reigning champion, and still, to this point, the championship leader, Alex Palou. He's with Georgia.
That's right. Alex Palou has been released from the IndyCar medical unit. What happened from inside the cockpit?
I think I just lost it out of 4. Driver mistake. There was no reason why I had to push there. Just trying to record from another driver mistake I had in the pit. So yeah, unacceptable. Very sorry for the 10 car. The car was good, just it wasn't our day.
Heartbreak for Alex Palou today. Thank you.
He was pushing, and he'd gone from 19th to 11th after that pit stop error.
For a driver that's so precise all the time, like Palou, you just heard it, 2 mistakes this race. Those are sleepless nights for a guy like that. He's probably in shock, really. He's just never seen this kind of situation in his career, at least as long as he's been in IndyCar.
But the good news for him is he doesn't have long to dwell on it. He's got to get through tonight, sleepless night maybe, but tomorrow he's got another shot at having a strong result.
And next weekend, the streets of Toronto, he'll be a favorite there as well. We might have an issue in turn 1. Is that a powertrain for Linus Lundquist? He pulls off quickly as the caution is out.
With 40 laps to go, caution flies here at Iowa. Stopped right in between 1 and 2. You see that driver frustrated in the cockpit. AMR safety team quick on the scene. Yeah, not sure why he lost drive, but did it in a place of the racetrack. Not enough momentum to get back around to pit lane. The caution has to fly here, and that sets us up for another restart.
Well, McLaughlin doesn't want to see that.
let's go! 30 laps to go from here to decide who wins leg one of the Hy-Vee doubleheader.
Nice late restart from McLaughlin. That's Ericsson working the high side around Armstrong. Thought about maybe going on VK. Now it's all about Newgarden v. Dixon. Big defense from Ericsson further back into turn 3.
Marcus Armstrong's got lights blinking on the back of his race car. That's hugely distracting. Look at the red light flashing for Kyle Kirkwood, who looked like he had contact with Ferrucci.
Ferrucci on the high side. There's the Sexton Properties machine.
Whoa!
He's not hanging around for anybody.
And Ferrucci just went right to the inside of Armstrong for 7th.
We're just getting word that the 11 of Marcus Armstrong is actually being black flagged for a mechanical. I don't love that.
Can't imagine that's his fault.
We don't know what to do here.
Dylan, what are you hearing? Oh, round goes Herta! Herta spun, and he catches it unbelievably. What?
Caution is out. What is happening on the racetrack? Armstrong looked like he was coming to pit lane. The late call to stay out on the racetrack, but ahead of him.
And that might save Armstrong to try to troubleshoot something, recycle a system under caution and fix the caution lights that are coming on inadvertently. How did Herta save that thing?
That was a crash that didn't happen. My goodness.
Herta had just made some big moves. This is Rossi in the orange and white car. Herta behind. Unbelievable. Loses it halfway. Keeps it going. Armstrong does a great job to avoid him. It wasn't even a spin. It was just a mild drift.
Well, but big credit to Colton Herta for not jumping on the brake pedal and locking up. You'll see on board here. I mean, what a save.
He loses one spot before the caution comes out.
He goes, you know, guys, you're impressed with what I did on the Indy Road course. Let me show you what I can do on an oval.
This is on board with Herta.
And how clairvoyant is Marcus Armstrong to know the caution's about to come and he's got his lights blinking? Maybe that's what it was all about. Things are about to get crazy.
That doesn't get much crazier. Let's get back to it here at Iowa Speedway.
Okay.
Yellow's out. Somebody might have spun further back. I see a car stopped out at turn 4.
Yeah, 30. That's Jack. Or sorry, that's Ed Carpenter.
Got hit on both sides.
The 30's also stopped. So Pietro Fittipaldi and Ed Carpenter with contact everywhere. Someone went over the top of somebody.
Pietro's just explaining what went down to his team as the AMR safety team, lightning fast as always, there to help the drivers get things sorted out. So that has aided McLaughlin. That's going to get him several laps closer to the finish under this yellow with 20 to go.
A couple crashes already on the season for Fittipaldi, DNFs, and Barber. And in the Indy 500, this is another one added to the list. Tough
both
break.
Have tire rubber on their left rear, and Will Power also damage to the left front.
Another championship contender having issues today. Fittipaldi can't believe it. Let's see. On board with Pietro.
Leader's gone, green, green, green.
Just got punted.
By who?
And I imagine Power maybe?
Power.
And then collected Ed Carpenter. Nowhere to go for Ed. On board with Power. Yeah, just misjudged it.
We get smoke coming from Ericsson's car.
The left rear, maybe the upright having an issue.
Could be, or it could be driveline related, but clearly smoke coming.
The brakes on fire.
Brake fire.
This is what happens sometimes under caution. You'll drag the brake to get heat into the tire carcass. May have overdone it a little bit. Hopefully it goes out once we go green.
All right, let's get ready to go. Here we go.
Ready? Going. Green, green, green.
Gets the cue to go. You just heard from Kyle Moyer there as they fan out. Ericsson's going on the inside of VK. VK's holding strong. Here comes Ferrucci. Ferrucci high again.
He's got one. He's going for two. Side by side now with VK. Can he hold it through 3 and 4? No, he backs out and goes down, but another great restart.
So close. Ferrucci has had wheel-to-wheel action more than anybody else tonight. He backs
put me
out.
up the track. I couldn't do much.
Complaining about VK putting on the track, but I don't see anything wrong with the way VK raced him there. What a big restart to get Ericsson.
What a recovery drive from Santino Ferrucci after the stop and go penalty, not even a drive through.
He went down a lap to 22nd and has fought his way back to 6th. 10 laps to go. McLaughlin leads.
And he's still fighting, Diff. Ericsson managing to stay out. There's definitely going to be some brake drag in that left rear. May have been part of the reason he wasn't able to get a good restart.
Speaking of stop and go, or in this case potentially stop and hold, we understand the number 12 of Will Power will get a penalty for avoidable contact. That's a pretty easy call for race control. 30 seconds the hold in the box. That's at the extreme end of avoidable contact penalties.
A bit unnecessary just because he's 4 laps down. I mean, the penalty needs to be served. Certainly, it's a deserved penalty, but the extra 30 seconds stop and go seems a little moot.
The 31-year-old Kiwi, Scott McLaughlin, leads the way. What a year this could be. He's already won, but if he could get his first oval win, he and wife Carly are expecting parents. There's a little one on the way. This is a big year for the McLaughlin household. Scotty Mack and the Thirsty Threes just got to hang in there for 6.5 more laps.
We saw the intensity of McLaughlin's look under caution at 60 miles an hour. How intense are things in the cockpit for Scotty Mack right now, knowing that first win is just 5 laps away at the line?
And a win here brings him up to the top 5 in the championship. He's asking for lap traffic in front to move.
And that's his teammate, Will Power. Just served the penalty.
Help me out, teammate. Help me out.
Oh dear, he's getting the message.
He got the message. Where's he going to go? Opens up that passage for Scott McLaughlin. O'Ward is in pursuit. And is Ericsson slowing?
He is.
Delaware Life Honda.
No more flames, or at least bright glow from the left rear rotor.
But
so
he's dropped down to 9th place.
Yeah.
He was
some
fighting
kind
with
of handling issue.
Ferrucci and VK at the restart in the 5th, 6th range. Trying to hold on to a top 10 with 4 to go.
And Palou O'Ward must be trying everything in the cockpit with adjustments to figure out, is there any way I can get closer?
How about this, guys? With just 3 laps left, Newgarden and McLaughlin are trading fastest laps of the race. Incredible. They're bringing it all the way to the end.
Newgarden up into a podium position, guys. He's cleared Scott Dixon, and he will have recovered plus 19 on the day if he can hold on for just 2 more laps.
2 to go for Scotty Mack, less than 2 miles.
Nice and smooth.
Nice and smooth. The Thirsty Threes to the moon, as they like to say. 1 more to go. What's really special
It's like 1 more.
is the emergence of fellow Kiwi Shane Van Gisbergen in the NASCAR world. And once bitter rivals in Australian supercars, it's great to see these 2 Kiwis encouraging each other in different series in North America. Scott was happy for SVG last weekend. Shane will cheer on. Scott McLaughlin gets his very first oval win here at Iowa Speedway.
He performed well on the iRacing Series. He's performed well right from the beginning of his oval career. Like you said, 2nd in that first ever oval race in Texas some years ago.
And it was the bitterness of losing that race in Texas that really told me how badly he wanted this moment right here. He finally gets it.
Give me a beer.
How did you get it done?
I can't have a beer tonight, unfortunately, but the XPEL Chevy is unreal. What got it done tonight was the pit stops, the team. Got me out in front of Herta there, and we should have showed our pace, and that's a big deal today, man. I've been working on that for a couple years. You know, it takes a lot of hard work, and I got pipped to the post a couple of years ago, and it stung. So I'm really stoked for all this whole team, proud of the whole team at Penske, and we've got another race tomorrow. We start from pole, so let's go again.
When you break through and do something you haven't done before, is there the possibility that opens the floodgates? What's possible for you now?
I never was going to call myself an IndyCar driver and try one on an oval, so I'm going to call myself an IndyCar driver now, if you don't mind. But I don't know. Hopefully the floodgates open. We bloody need them too, because we're a fair way behind the championship, but we'll see how we go.
Up next, it's the Hy-Vee One Step 250, Sunday, July 14th. Watch it at noon on NBC.